everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's conversation is all about overcoming fear, stepping into your purpose, and becoming the person you're meant to be. I'm joined by Kelly Keefe, an author, speaker, and transformational coach who helps people break free from limiting beliefs, embody confidence, and live more aligned lives. She's the author of Rise Above Fear and has helped thousands of people navigate personal and spiritual growth through her coaching, writing, and speaking. Kelly, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me and creating this space.
All right. So yes, heads up, Kelly. We're gonna be diving into your 20s a little bit. Okay. So can you take us back to your 20s? What did life look like for you before stepping into the work you do today?
Yeah, so the 20s are definitely a adventurous time. And it's actually interesting, of my mid 20s is actually when I started the heart space. And so there's a period of time in here of still going through such my own transformational experience that is the decades of the 20s and starting the heart space at that time of deep healing and teaching others. So I could say the beginning of my 20s, I had truly no idea the depths of who I was and was still young to the world and finding my way, exploring entrepreneurship in different facets. And leaving my 20s, I left deeply aligned and understanding more and more who I really am.
Similar to our 20s, right? We are all trying to figure out life and just find a way to just align with our purpose, right? So, you started in the corporate world. What were some of the internal struggles or doubts you were facing during that time?
Yeah, so right out of college, I was presented with an opportunity to be a part of a startup. And so I had the entrepreneur bug right out of school, but that lasted for about 2 years. And then I really went on this meandering journey of different roles and trying to figure out what worked for me. I worked at a nonprofit, working with children in the foster care for some time. I did some solar sales, and then I moved to New York and I found myself working at a tech startup. And I always had a resistance and feeling that the corporate world, the 9 to 5, was not for me. But I was like, well, I'll give it a try because at least I can say I've tried it. And I can't just go off of this inkling. I know for sure whether it's for me or not. And as soon as I sat down in the cubicle for training, everything in my being was like, nope, this is not me. This is not me.
Mhm.
But I saw it through for about 9, 10 months before I took a leap into to India and starting the heart space full time. And so, you know, I'm grateful looking back at that time. I really did try a lot of different ways of what work can look like and how to find the balance between purpose, but still being able to navigate the world and the 3D reality of, how can we live in alignment, but still thrive in the physical world and not leave those needs and desires behind too.
Mm. Wow. All right. So yes, Kelly, I have just this one question for you, right? Regarding 20s, actually. So let's say for someone in their 20s who feels stuck or uncertain, what do you think they often misunderstand about finding their purpose?
Hmm. Yeah, this is a big question that is coming up more and more, and it's really beautiful to see that that just shows also where the
Yeah.
collective is of really wanting to live with purpose. So in
Yeah.
our 20s, I have this still coming to me of women of, 30s, 40s, 50s. And no, first and foremost, you're not alone. But I think the
Yeah.
biggest reminder on that is our purpose is not a job. Our purpose isn't like this one thing we're here to do. Like, okay, what's my purpose? Oh, it's to be an architect, or it's to be a and insert here. Our purpose is when we're in our most authentic expression, what is the medicine we bring to the world? And how do we contribute to society just being that? But then we can find avenues to be able to share that purpose into the world. My purpose is to help people remember who they are, to be able to activate that most authentic, confident, visionary self and remove the limiting beliefs that keep us from being it. That's the purpose. But I do that through coaching, through writing, through comedy. There's so many different expressions of that purpose.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much for that one, Kelly. Like I've
Yeah.
already said that. I've learned a lot already. And yes, I want us to do like a deep dive into what you do now. So today you help people rise above fear. What does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah, great question. So we move through the world so often consciously knowing that we want to do something, become something, to reach for something. But there's these parts inside of our inner world that are having a very different experience and they're battling us. Sometimes we can feel it within ourselves, or sometimes we're like, I don't understand why I start something and then I stop, or there's always this stream, but I don't know where to begin. And next thing a day, a week, months, years have gone by, and we still aren't moving on the things. So we explore this in my work in the group program Permission Granted and in the one-on-one work, where we look at this from how do we get really clear of who's the authentic version of you and that essence that wants to be the most dominant. And from there, we explore what are the limiting beliefs and the fears, the parts within that aren't on board with this yet because of past trauma or experiences and programming that's been given to us in childhood. And we begin to learn how to have ourselves work in harmony in our inner world and rewrite the limiting beliefs that are running. So that way we find ourselves walking in an embodied state of a new version of ourselves in a way that it's deep work, but actually feels rather easy and graceful.
Hmm. That's interesting. Actually, it's interesting because like you said, you're trying to make it seem like easy and grateful, but it's actually deep work. And that's like a perfect way to get someone to actually, work on themselves and actually do better with themselves, especially like you said, rising above fear. All right. So yes, it brings me to your book, right? Your book, Rise Above Fear. It has actually impacted many people. So, what's the core message you wanted readers to take away from your book?
Yeah. I spent some time really studying fear. As
Mm,
someone who has had a lot of adversity and obstacles and fear myself all the way along this journey. So it comes from embodying it and learning it through, experience. And biggest thing of it is for us to change the story. So often we've heard feel the fear and do it anyway, or slay the fear, or these
mm,
very, and not gender, not when I say a very masculine approach, not meaning of male identifying humans, but of the energy of masculine, where when
mm,
we look at what fear really is and where it comes from, it is a part within us that feels unseen and unheard. And it's us that's really wanting attention, love, and care. And so through Rise Above Fear, we go through the approach of how do we really start to befriend the fear? How do we welcome it into the table and actually nurture it so it's able to feel calmer and everyone move through whatever it is that we want to step into and rise above as a
mm,
team. This is how we make long-lasting, sustainable change. If we're just like, oh,
mm,
feel the fear and do it anyway, you're just continuing the cycle of repressing and dismissing parts of yourself that want to be heard and healed.
mm. Wow. Okay. That sounds it sounds interesting.
Casual. It's casual.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like my perspective, I just have a whole new perspective to fear. right? Because
Mm,
usually, like you said, um, one would just want to, uh, quench fear, or let's just, you said feel the fear and just do it anyways, right? But that's
mhm.
not the best approach to actually, overcoming fear. It's about nurturing it and rising above it. You face your fears. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, I think I have like a whole new perspective to fear, because it's funny how that is one of the major problems young adults are facing today. Fear
Hmm.
accompanied with self-doubt, right? It makes people quit, right? People quit before they even start because of fear of probably the unknown, fear of failure, or even fear of success, which is even crazier. Okay, so for someone listening right now who feels overwhelmed by fear or self-doubt, what's one simple step they can take today?
Yeah. And thank you for naming the fear of success because that is more common than fear of failure. Thank you for naming that. Uh, it's so real. I think if I may, I would be two, because one is just the acknowledgement to ourselves of this is so normal. Like there's nothing wrong with you. If you're feeling fear and feeling self-doubt, welcome to being a human. It's not something that we talk about out in the open too much. And so people think, oh, it must just be me, or especially now with social media, everyone's so confident and everything's out there. Like it's human, it's the human experience. So first is just reminding yourself that. And then the action piece would be to say, okay, fear, I hear you, I see you, and you're welcomed. And I'll just leave it at
Mm.
that right now. But taking that and just observing what might shift in your inner world and that anxiety and fear in the body. Some things will most likely begin to shift just with that acknowledgement.
Hmm. Wow. Okay, thank you for that one, actually.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it just makes me want to ask this question, right? What are you currently working on or creating that excites you the most right now? And like looking ahead, what kind of impact do you hope your work or message will have on people globally?
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. Uh, right now, we are preparing for the next cohort of our group coaching program, Permission Granted.
Mm.
And I've been doing this work we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary in the heart space, which is wild in and of itself. Starting this in my 20s and now here we are, mid 30s and we're still at it. It just blows my
Mm.
mind. But to be at a piece of the permission granted program we've been doing now for a few years. And so the curriculum has just gotten stronger. The frameworks, the transformations are amazing. We just brought on a couple of new team members. So we're just turning up our customer experience. And it's a really exciting time in the heart space. And we're getting ready to open the doors for enrollment for the next cohort of permission granted where we're even offering scales and scholarships to make this accessible as much as possible.
Wow. Okay, now I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating it, and I wish you the best of luck, right? Trying to,
Yeah.
make that work. Because I believe it's gonna actually work and it will go global, obviously. Because yes, you're doing good. It's you're trying to help people, and like I had a guest that said helping people just works, right? So yes.
Hmm.
All
Hmm.
right. So thank you so much for this conversation. I feel like it has been powerful and inspiring, especially for people who are trying to, step into their authentic self and break through fear. Exactly. So I have just this one question for you, right? My final question for you. So yeah, if you could give one honest piece of advice to someone in their 20s who feels lost, afraid, or unsure of their path, what would it be?
Yeah. One, again, I'm a rule breaker here. I'm going a little rogue on you. One, first remind yourself, welcome to the human experience. Welcome to your 20s. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. We
Yeah.
all go through it. It's the human experience. And then
Mm,
two, experiment. If you found something that feels really good and it's working for you, ride it. Stay in it,
mm,
stay focused with it. But if you haven't, try new things. This is the most expansive time of your life in a crazy decade where you're radically different every
mm.
single year naturally, developmentally. And so, giving yourself that permission to try new things and see what really works for you because there's so many ways to do life and to thrive in life.
Right. Wow. Okay. So yeah, like you said, right? It's okay for us to feel that way. It's okay. It's a human experience, and we are all humans. So it's okay to feel lost or afraid or unsure of their path. But what we also need to do, like you said, is to try different things. Like you never know, you never know what works for you, and if you don't try, how would you know? So you just have to try different things, and then yeah, you figure out what works for you at the end of the day. So yes, thank you so much, Kelly. I feel like I've learned a whole lot already, and I hope my listeners would learn also from this episode. Which brings me to the final segment of my podcast. It's called the rapid fire segment.
Hmm.
Okay, so starting now, what is one fear you had to overcome?
Never reaching my potential, so I did nothing.
Hmm, wow. Okay, a belief that changed your life.
I am here on purpose and very powerful.
Okay, one daily practice for confidence.
Reiki practice.
Hmm, Reiki, okay. All right, and something people misunderstand about purpose.
That it's a job, not an essence and expression of self.
Hmm, okay, and finally, one word that defines your journey.
One word. Oh my gosh, I'm so loquacious by nature. One word.
Okay, all
Destined.
right, sentence.
Destined. Destined.
Wow, okay. All right, destined. Indeed, you are actually. All right. Okay, Kelly. This has been amazing, actually. And yes, where can listeners get to know more about you, explore your work and your writings?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you three spots, everyone. Take your pick. You can
Okay.
come connect with me over on Instagram at the Kelly Keefe. If you want more of our work and upcoming programs to apply for the next cohort of Permission Granted, you can catch us over at heartspace.co. Our writing is available on the website, but you can also find it on Amazon globally, just putting in Kelly Keefe, and you'll be able to get access to the different writings available.
All right. Well, so yeah, I found my pick, Instagram. All right, Kelly. Yes, thank you so much for this conversation. Thanks for the work you're doing. I think you're doing an amazing job. And yes, I wish you all the best of luck. And to my listeners, thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, make sure to share to someone you think might need this and also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. All right. Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to reach out to you after this via Instagram.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for creating this and the space for people to, just get some wisdom. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and for having me. Thank you.